to minimize the involvement of the leader of opposition party leadership in the appointment of the shadow cabinet by removing the requirement of consulting the leadership of the leader of opposition party. This is because the leader of opposition should be superintended over all opposition political parties in parliament. B, require the shadow cabinet to be approved by a resolution of members of the opposition parties. This will enhance accountability at the shadow cabinet. Require the leader of opposition to, in consultation with opposition political parties represented in parliament, appoint chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of standing committees which are required to be chaired and deputized by members from the opposition. This will ensure that the views of other political parties are considered while appointing chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of opposition committees. Additional amendments to the Administration of Parliament Amendment Bill. Honorable members, in accordance with Rule 129 of the Rules of Procedure, I beg your indulgence and hereby submit additional proposals to the bill to provide for 2 backbench commissioners elected from amongst members of the opposition parties in Parliament, and clarity that the 2 shall not belong to the same party. Let me read and then you comment. When you read the, I said additional amendment. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
just one thing.
Can I have substantive issues? What is the matter?
If members feel that they want me to stop where they're
changing that position,
what
can someone come up with a matter? Proceed.
Mr. Chairman. The chairman is at this particular stage introducing new matters which are not covered under the bill as presented in the Parliament and as delivered to us before us. So is he procedure in order to bring amendments to his own bill which have not been formally moved before the House?
When you were in the House, it is on the basis of this bill that you are given a certificate of financial implication. So when you reach at the committee now and you're giving us additional amendments, it is not in the spirit of the certificate, because they looked at this and on the basis of this you are given. So additional amendments would be extrinsic, would be outside for our consideration. Thank you.
Proceed, Honorable Wood.
Under our rules 129 sub rule 4,
yes,
the committee may, if I can read, the committee may propose and accept proposed amendments in the bill as it considers fit, if the amendments, including the new clauses and new schedules, are relevant to the subject matter. But the main point we are raising is that we don't have it even at this stage. There is no print of it that should have circulated to us so that we can. So he's just speaking from his.
So the ruling is that under rule properly moving, he can bring those proposals,
but the only problem,
and the committee will look at them, but the problem is that we don't have those copies.
I can avail them. They are with me here, and then copies can be made.
And any other person in the committee, members, can still bring proposals, and we look at them. So just address yourself.
You are now agreeing.
Authority District Woman Representative and a member of this committee. On the basis of what Honorable Niwagaba has guided,
And that is what
okay, you've already given your ruling, Honorable Chair, but just to share the experience that he was citing about the 102B amendment, your predecessor, Honorable Guster, yes, in chair and constituency, inspired, I think he was deputy chair at some point. Anyway, he inspired the committee to introduce a very infamous clause, which made us at the end of it look really, really shabby. And you know what the court said about introducing amendments at this point. But also, as a member who has had experience, when you get a certificate of financial implication and have any addition, because when you apply, you attach the bill. If you have any addition to that bill, you have to get a fresh certificate of financial implication. And now, like this one, those new amendments have a charge, because having 2 additional commissioners has a charge to our voters' parliament. So I invite you, Honorable Chair, to reconsider.
With the commission without further charge to the consolidated fund to allow that. So if they liaise with the commission and they find they cannot do it, then they can abandon it. But the thing is, we cannot just leave it. You listen, then you debate.
I rule that the Honorable, if there is any rule that has been breached, we will inform you that your amendments were rejected. But for now, proceed and listen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But
We wait for the copies.
no, I have not, because now I don't have the bill. They have gone to photocopy.
Stampeding us.
But you are going to debate.
But how can we debate when we are not armed with information?
So when you are going to debate, it is not
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. I want... that is right. You have no locus.
Then for you come and clean up. You clean up. Me, I can walk on the table, do everything, then you clean up. Yes. I can even bang the table. Jim is you bang the table. Yes, so we can bang them. To a party in opposition to government, this proposal will give ample time to a political party in opposition to have enough time to debate and thus promotes evidence-based debate in the House. The proposal...
Yes, Chair, as he submits, I would like him to help us follow where that will flow from his bill. Is it before clause 1 or is continuing to clause 5 or something?
I wanted an additional section called section 22A. It's a new insertion. It's a new clause and we can insert it. We can even call it 120A.
And we also at liberty to invite you. Now, do you want your colleague to say something in a minute?
My colleague...
You look, you as you have mentioned it too, second amendment.
You are reading?
Yes, yes.
The member of parliament representing the people of Entebbe, I there for the country and the future generation. So we are at a big litmus test as the committee to produce the best that will leave a test of time. The bill had the challenges here and there, and I've seen according to the procedural issues raised by colleagues. But I was confident that this committee is going to help us pan a bit, and we come up with the best. A few insertions that will be put in, if need be, will be for the good of our country. I came in to support the bill, Honorable Chair, because I thought it was unlimited. So many things that were salient in the Act, that we are providing answers for them. And as my colleagues...
provides for the leader of opposition in Parliament. Article 82A, sub-article 2, says, Parliament shall by law prescribe the following in respect of the leader of opposition. Then 2A says how he or she is chosen and how he or she ceases to hold that office. The catchphrase I'm talking about, relying on here, is the word chosen. And then when you go to section 8 of the Administration of Parliament Act, introduces the word election. My literal interpretation of the two words, chosen and election, seem to be in total sharp contrast. I want to pick the mind of my senior colleagues, especially Fox and Wilfred, who entered the role before me. Do they in any way mean the same?
We are many.
Chair, we are I am saying my colleagues on the committee, you are a witness, you are not a member.
And Chair, before he finishes, you have to prevail over the witness to respect the committee.
And the word election. Secondly, on clause 1, if you interrogate Article 82A, there are two keywords: multi-party system or organization and leader of opposition. Now your definition tends now to restrict the definition to opposition parties in parliament. Does this definition meet the test of multi-party system or organizations in the Constitution? And when you read Article 82A, you also read Article 83, sub-Article 2, which introduces the question of a coalition government. Assuming there are 5 political parties in an election, and 3 of them opposed to each other in ideology and like, but have formed a coalition, are they opposition political parties? Would this definition of yours not contravene Article 83(2)? That's food for thought. Secondly,
the Administration of Parliament Act. Now, I can see Honorable Nwagaba, the senior member of this committee,
respond to that matter, but also make his substantive submission.
So can we first have
The other matter concluded.
Yes.
Chair, the disclaimer to
Chair,
but proceed.
I must say that I've had a very substantial time in practice, more than 13 years of the committee of legal chosen. You can choose one. It can be by direct appointment. It can be through an election. It's a process. That is my humble interpretation. Thank you.
I wanted us to rise above that position and task our technical people, the legal department, to give us a position in writing.
All right. Matter rested. Proceed, Honorable Nwaga.
We listened attentively to the submissions of Honorable Lumu, and I must say I'm excited because the Honorable Lumu makes the case that for us to underpin democracy, accountability and transparency, we must introduce the element of election in the process of choosing the leader of opposition and the opposition chief whip. So on principle, I agree with him that in democracies, election is the only legitimate and viable process for picking leaders. Thank you very much for. Thank you very much. Vice President is the entire membership of Parliament. We sit and elect a Vice President. We elect. It's called approval, but it's basically an election. That's another word for that approval process is an election. We approve the Prime Minister in an elective process. All members of Parliament. We don't exclude the opposition. And these are members of the executive. They belong to the ruling party. What would be the good reason for excluding the other members of Parliament from electing the leader of opposition and the opposition whip and the commissioners of Parliament? Would you be promoting democracy, accountability, transparency when you exclude us in the process of electing the leader of opposition?
The Honorable Lumu is that he cited the precedent of an election of LOP between the Honorable Latigo and I believe some in Juba. Could you clarify to us where this election took place? Was it here in Parliament, and who presided over that election at that time? Because that's where you are coming from, I think, as the best practice. Then I would like you to clarify. Secondly, under Article 82A, where you derive your bill from, I see you have concentrated on the provision under 82A 2A as well, which is how he or she is chosen. If along the way somebody would like to also deal with B, which is his or her status, C, his or her role and functions, and then D, the benefits and privileges. For example, since you are the leader of the opposition, under D, we propose that you don't draw benefits from Parliament, you draw from your political party. Would you be comfortable that the other provisions are also incorporated in this bill? For example, to say the leader of the opposition is not entitled to any benefit from this Parliament. Would you be comfortable if that proposal is made?
This law you are talking of, would he be
noting that we are basing on that country because their method of operation is far better, and we base on that for
in the additional amendment, the intention to add clause 4, intending to amend section 11 of the Principal Act. What motivates you to say you want to limit the involvement of the opposite party in the appointment of the shadow cabinet? What's the motivation? What are you trying to cure by this amendment?
Yeah, what is your opinion about that position, other than having to amend the entire parliament and also strengthen the democratic processes? What guides you to assert that the only way we can strengthen this office is to be chosen or to be elected by only members of the opposition party? And what lacuna would it create if, like all other offices that administer parliament, political offices, the whole parliament is involved in the choice of the leader of opposition? Thank you.
Date for this law, and if this law is enacted, what is the fate of the current holder of office? I hope you have understood. Yes, the current leader of the opposition. So when do you want this law to take effect? Because you have not put it here, and in case it takes effect in this parliament, and if that is your intention,
the leader of opposition has been agreed upon by the party, then a motion is moved there and we all elect. I think that is enough for that, for growing democracy. The other one is...
Chair, can I correct the meeting?
Choosing.
Thank you, sir. May I correct the member that what the law provides for commencement of office by the leader of the opposition is a mere statement by the presiding officer in the House. There's no question put.
There's no question?
No.
Okay, sorry. So we can amend and say question is put. So the other one, Mr. Chairman, is the framers of the Constitution intended for a particular kind of democracy. Why they drafted the Constitution the way it is, there was an intention, there was that spirit in them to create the democracy that was working for the country as it is today. And I don't want to touch that democracy because it is already provided for in the Constitution. The way it is, I'm satisfied. That is why I didn't even touch it. when I was moving my amendments. The other one, Mr. Chair, in the next Parliament, in the 12th Parliament. That's what I would prefer, because I have no problem when it starts in the next Parliament. All what I want is that as if we have put the law in order, everything is proper, it can start in the next Parliament. I have no problem with it.
Chair, you see now, is that an amendment? Because the issue, that is a clause now.
Yeah, we can, and I want a very strong opposition, even if we are in power. I'm trying to make you people in the NRM, when you are in opposition, when you are strong there, when you can check us properly. So that is what I'm providing for. Yeah. The other one who presided over, I will give, if I do further research, and I give you that. But I know in Ghana, that's how they do. So I will present to the clerk when I'm done with it. The one which I actually think would be the proper one would be when the first run-up is the leader of opposition. But it requires to amend the Constitution because of, I think, Article 78, if it is offered. I think the composition of Parliament and how ex-officials come into Parliament. That would be the best proposition. And the research I have of head is that when Paul Semogerere, the late, was the leader of opposition from 1980 to 1985, there was no tension at all because he was the president of the party, at the same time the leader of opposition. So that harmonious kind of situation is what I want to see in Parliament.
Chair,
so that
can I correct the meeting for the record to be proper to answer the
yes.
with Parliament? So we had a hybrid presidential system and then proportional representation. So amending the Constitution to give us that would require also amending particular provisions of the mode of electing members of Parliament.
To us that this bill, it has been brought in good faith, and your intention is that it should take off in the 12th Parliament.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know whether Honorable Duru did not clearly hear me, but I said it. But I want to make a small clarification. In Africa, whenever there is something good, they first of all resist it, and even wear it, dress it with all kinds of things. I can tell you in Buganda, the coffee is called chivoko. The reason why it is called chivoko, people resisted to grow it and we are simply whipped to grow it. Right now they are benefiting. They thought that the one who was bringing coffee had bad intentions. Even electricity, everything. So I want to tell my brother that my heart has always been a very clean heart, and it will always continue to be.
But Chair, through
so
you, maybe
there is no problem.
Chair, through you, sorry to interject. You know, when you are dealing with Jonathan and Luganda, his Luganda is not very good. Like he's already on record. I
tried to interpret for him, but I can give him another important one. Was toilet. Why the toilet is called Mugwanya? Mugwanya was the Prime Minister of Buganda. He introduced digging the toilets. People resisted. Because it was too harsh on them, they named the toilet Mugwanya. So don't have in you anything to think that there is bad spirit or bad. I am trying to make things good, to cure actually what has been in Uganda for the last 60 years. Today we must.
Thank you. I'm sure that question you have faced it before. I just wanted the committee to have on record that you have good faith.
We are a younger democracy, especially in terms of cementing multi-party democracy. We barely restored it in 2006, and all legislations that restored multi-party democracy were made in a suspicion. and potentially not in good faith. I saw many colleagues come into Parliament for the first time that were even scared to shake the hand of the leader of the opposition in Parliament, lest their neighbors see them and report to them the powers that be. I even know senior politicians in this country that believe that the opposition is a bother, and therefore anything that can be done to curtail the opposition should be done. So while considering these legislations that touch the spirit of the opposition, not that I believe we shall be permanently in the opposition, but I'm inviting honorable members here to understand that the bulk of the spirit obtaining in the original legislations was lukewarm. Even when you look at the Administration of Parliament Act, the way the language was couched, it never was done to facilitate the growth of multi-party democracy. And therefore, probably this bill, properly considered without emotions, could give multi-party democracy a new beginning. All I want to ask of the mover is to be very clear on every other aspect he wants to achieve, especially in the detailing and making us understand what exactly you want to cure in this entire bill, Honorable Chair. I thought I should bring that obiter into perspective that we can have
received.
Thank you.
Well received.
Etandika ekisanje ekijja sikirinaako mutawaana naye ekyo kiri subject ku biki bye tugenda okwogera wano kubanga ndowooza mulabye ekibeera mu komiti si kusiika binyeebwa na kubirya buli muntu akusaba tulanga bw'asobodde naye olina okuddamu kaakati waliwo ekimu kyendabye ekigenda okunsanyusa ennyo byebyo byennyongeddemu era nabadde nfunye obuzibu nga ndaba bakirwanyisa nga tebaagala mbyongeremu kubanga mulimu mwesooka tebyalimu naye kati mbyongeddemu era babirisiivinze ekyo ekimu kubisinza okunsanyusa nti bwe tunaabiyisa ojja kulaba nga ate tutereezezza nnyo n'okusingako bwe tubadde n'olwekyo ndi musanyufu nti komiti empadde obudde nembabuulira byendowooza nti byenjagala nyongeddemu njagalamu komishona omulala owa parliament naye bakomishona ababiri kubanga waliwo unfairness abantu bonna abalala batuula ku komishoni ba NRM fe tuyinayo omu yekka okugjako ng'ogaseeko leader of opposition kati ne bwe babeera babiri era argument gye bakola ey'ababiri nga bali balinga 9 kiba kizibu kati kwe kwagala twongereko omu nga naye omu oyo tebava mu kibiina kifaanagana bonna bava mu bibiina bya njawulo naye nga by'opposition ekyo ndowooza nti wenkiyisaamu nakyo tekiba kibi ekyokubiri njagala time allocation nga bwe tugenda wali mu plenary okwogera basooka kuyita bibiina kubanga tuli mu multi-party dispensation basooka ne bayita kino ne bayita kiri ne bayita kino ku nsonga yonna oba bawadde eddakiika 10 oba 5 ne mwogera bwe mumala ne balyoka bayita buli muntu ndowooza nti ekyo kirungi eri ffe ffenna ekyokusatu kyenjagala okwongeramu sente zino ezigenda mu office ya leader of opposition esente ezo zikola ku ffe ffenna ab'ebibiina ebyenjawulo kati nga kyenjagala sente ezo zibeere ewa commissioner atwala oludda oluvuganya naye nga wiipu w'ekibiina asobola okuzaasesinga not assessing but accessing ng'asobola okuzaccessinga nga talina gwabuuzizzaako ye omulimu gwe kola bajeti ye n'agiwa commissioner sente we ziba we ziri n'azimuwa ne bagenda bakola ebiyamba ekibiina kyabwe kati si bwe kiri kati bwe kiri olina okugenda ewa leader of opposition yenna abeerawo ye n'akusalirawo kumpi kikyalina okukola kati ekyo nakyo njagala okukijjawo tusobole okukulaakulanya n'ebibiina bino ebirala byebimu ku byenjagadde okwongerako ekyokuna tekiri offhead kati naye ndowooza bibadde bina naye ebyo byebisatu byenninawo offhead ekiri subject to debate era nze bwentyo bweŋŋambye naye debate egenda kubeerawo kati debate muyinza okuba ne debate bwe mubeera ne debate buli muntu aleeta n'agamba nti nedda ffe twandirowoozizza litandike enkya omulala n'agamba litandike mwezi gujja wabeerawo debates ez'enjawulo. So kati debates ezo ziyinza okuvaamu nga zijjewo proposition yange aziga nti bwe tulimalira bwe tulikolera, naye nze proposition yange ndowooza mbadde njogera gino. Okusooka njagala mulabye nga Oseku, Honorable Oseku ambuuzizza ekibuuzo ekikulu ennyo. Nze kyenjagala, njagala nga okulonda kwa president kubaddewo abeera owookubiri kasita afuna 50% ey'obululu bw'oli akulembedde, oyo ajje buzzi mu parliament abeere nga yakulembedde oludda oluvuganya. Eyo ye first option gye nnina. Kati ekyokubiri, bw'aba tasobodde kufuna bisaanyizo ebyo, tukozesa kulonda ekibiina ekirina ababaka abangi wano. Kakati ekyo nakyo bwe kiba tekisobose, kati ndeesemu actually ekyokuna kye mbadde mumbuuza kizze, ndeeseewo embeera nti singa ebibiina bibiri bireeta ababaka nga omuwendo gwenkana, tukola tutya? Kati nze ntaddewo nti buli kibiina kironda basatu ne kibatuwa ne tujjako omu. Ekyo kyendeese singa tetuba tetugenze mu buyinza mu 2026 kuba tuba ebyo tebitukwatako, naye abalibeerawo nze ekyo kyemba mbalowoolezza. Ekirala nti engoba ya leader of opposition, mulabye nga Honorable Fox Odo yaga nti fena tulonde, naye constitution bwe bagikola baafaayo nnyo okulaga nti oludda oluvuganya lweronderenga, era nze ekyo kyenkyawagira. Naye speaker agenda actually nakola declaration. Kati kyenjagala tukyuseemu awo nti tuteekengawo motion nga bwolaba eya prime minister, kubanga ono kumpi yenkanankana ne prime minister. Kati tuteekengawo motion parliament egiyise, bwegiyisa nga kiwedde. Kozesa models nyingi, tuyinza okugamba nti bwe tunaakuŋŋaananga tulyoke twerondemu oyo anaakubiriza okulonda. Tuyinza okugamba tituyite omulamuzi atukubiririza okulonda. Tuyinza okugamba tuyite one of the clerks mu parliament atukubiririza okulonda. So kiri gye tuli, era mu writings ezimu ze ngenda okukola n'ekyo nakyo nja kukyongeramu. Mu bill intention oba ogifunye. Kati intention first of all nja democracy yennyini mwagala. Intention eyokubiri njagala njagala commission omulala. Intention eyokusatu njagala batuwe time. Kati that is the intention. Ekyo kibaddewo tubadde balwadde. Kakati ekyetabaddeewo ng'olabebbwa ku muntu olijjanjaba kati ndijjawo. The problem eya leader of opposition, abamu ku mmwe abasinga wano muli bawala bato, eyo problem ye yasaanyawo Democratic Party okuva ku Bazilio batalingaya ne batandika okusala eddiiro nga banyiize. Okiraba? Kakati problem eyo tetusobola kubeera nga tetugijjaawo all the time. Tulina okugijjawo oba twagala oba tetwagala. Ensi eteriire. Kati ngenda kujjawo ekizibu ekibaddewo for 60 years. Ngenda kijjawo ate kigenda kuvaawo.
Kaniriza ayalese teeka okuteeka munongesereza mu mateeka agafuga Parliament, Administration of Parliament Act. Era Oweekitiibwa Lumu tubadde naye olwaleero n'atuyitiramu nga komiti amateeka gayagala okukyusakyusaamu. Mu bufunze Oweekitiibwa Lumu agamba nti constitution egamba wajja kubeerawo akulira oluuyi oluvuganya mu Parliament, ate constitution neewa Parliament obuyinza okusalawo tunaamulondanga tutya. Kati Oweekitiibwa Lumu agamba nti ayagala ennongeesera mu mateeka ejje nga egamba nti ababaka ab'oludda oluvuganya gavumenti bonna balonde omubaka anaabeera leader of opposition. Nti naye abo abasatu, naye nti oyo ava mu kibiina ekirina okubeera n'ababaka abasinga obungi mu Parliament, the party with the greatest numerical strength in Parliament. Balonde abantu basatu, abo abasatu bagende babalondeko nga ababaka bonna abali mu opposition be balonda. Kyekisinga obukulu mu tteeka Oweekitiibwa Lumu lyaleese olwaleero mu kakiiko k'amateeka. pozi n'ekirala nti ne opposition chief whip naye bamulonde bamukubeko akalulu ng'agamba kino kijja kunyweza demokrasia yaffe okuba nti ababaka abali mu opposition bonna balonda omuntu waabwe agenda okubeera spokesperson atwala opposition yonna mu parliament tikinyweza demokrasia kijja kwongeramu accountability n'obwesigwa ababaka bano aba opposition kubanga beesiga omukulembeze waabwe gwe balonze bo bennyini kyaliko era kyategeezeza olwaleero.